Good morning, everyone. Kate Bohr and Fiona Pearman joining you for this week's live session where we're talking about the power of learning with others within the community. And I think last week we talked about why it matters and the value of it. This week we want to talk about what can get in the way. And I think it's always really interesting, like when we talk to clients who are wanting to do individual coaching versus come into our group program and experience a group coaching dynamic. There's a lot of beliefs and myths that sit beneath the surface around how we think we need to grow and develop, how we think, and there's a really intuitive, interesting piece around we think the one-to-one will deliver better results and be more tailored and be more relevant. But I think what's really interesting when we observe the dynamics of our clients who come into a group program experience is things shift in incredibly different dynamic ways. And so what we love about it is actually go further faster in the group dynamic. And so loop back to last week's video to hear more about the why. I think when we think about what gets in the way, there is just a belief that I should be able to do this myself and that I shouldn't need help, or that actually working one-on-one with someone or just on my own, kind of burrowing away, doing self-reflection or whatever it is in whatever way it looks like, that I should be able to achieve the growth, the insights, the aha moments, just in my own company. And what we know is that when you have many mirrors around you, like if you think about the analogy of one mirror compared to many mirrors landing, the opportunities, the shifts, the friction, interestingly, decreases, even though the volume of insights and aha moments increases because you're with others.
Yeah, I think this is a thing that if we haven't done much of it or you haven't done this kind of work before, you'll be surprised what we see that happens in these group programs. And this kind of little red hen analogy that I need to do it by myself. I should be able to do this. I should have it. This is not such a difficult thing. It really dampens down when you're with a whole lot of other people who are navigating the same challenges, who are in the boat with you, who see how difficult it is, who recognize the same challenges, the same discomfort, the same barriers that are stopping you from doing what you want to. And I think this helps one of the other fears that comes up about, if you're someone who's quite shy and reserved, being in a group can often feel a little bit uncertain. You don't know how to show up. You don't know how to engage. You're worried about not belonging and potentially not being liked. And that often holds us back from thinking it'll be okay to step into a community and learn. And I think one of the things we love about the community that's been created around this work is the people are so deeply committed personally and collectively to really supporting each other. So starting to question that fear and that default assumption that I wouldn't belong, that I wouldn't fit in, and challenging yourself and giving it a go. We just see incredible bonds, incredible learning opportunities, incredible interactions that happen as a result of people coming in.
Yeah, and I also think there's an interesting piece around how vulnerable will I be, and shame, right? We can't ignore the shame that comes up around, particularly often with this work. People think I'm the problem. One of the biggest reliefs for most women when they come into any of our work, into our communities, oh, so many other women experience this. This is just normal by virtue of operating in the systems, the environments that we operate in. And so whilst there can be hesitation around not feeling safe enough to share and to be vulnerable, what we see is women, ironically, going very deep, very quick, often sharing things that they won't share with anybody else within these containers because it's safe, because many of these experiences and emotions are normalized. And that is where the depth and the power and the catalyst and transformation happens. Because when it's just us, even when, if we think about the coaching container, or a mentor container, even when you're getting advice or someone else from in that context is sharing, that is a very different experience to seeing someone like you who is in a same or similar dynamic to you, sharing an experience that is a mirror of what is going on for you inside. And even just having the aha moment and doing something differently and sharing that experience back on some level mirrors your own experience and what could be possible for you. And so it's that is the deep potency.
Yes, yeah. And I love this, the kind of paradox here is we often think, I don't have time. I can't prioritize this. There's so much else in my world that's important. And, if I was to do it just in a one-to-one situation, that would be the fast way for me to get what I want. But our evidence is not that necessarily. Obviously, there are particular, maybe very fraught or very difficult dynamics where one-to-one is important. However, in the vast majority of cases, the power is in the work collectively, of being in conversation, of being in exploring together, unpacking together, experimenting together with doing things a little bit differently. And I think, if your story is you don't have time for this, I don't have time to dedicate to this learning, to this, shifting things, I'm just going to keep working hard, I'm going to get things perfect, I'm going to keep doing the right thing. Again, our evidence is that does not lead to the outcomes that people say they want. That, not prioritizing this, not prioritizing your learning, not prioritizing making it the most important thing for a little while, often means we fall further and further behind. Relying on that hard work just doesn't get the same outcome.
Yeah, and I cannot emphasize the importance, especially for women, to have a really strong, supportive professional network around them, whatever that looks like, wherever that comes from. Whether it comes from being as in a program like Acts of Confidence, whether it comes from, your organization and a network of, or just a handful of women, whether it's from being involved in an industry body, whatever that looks like, your ability to have objective, like-minded women who can be sounding boards, who can be supporters, who can help normalize some of your experience, who can give you advice if and when you ask for it and or need it, is really, really important when it comes to being able to navigate personal and professional contexts.
Yeah, I think we'll leave it here. So much benefit to overcoming some of those obstacles that we might have in our minds about learning from and with others in a community, in a group coaching program. I think, if you've enjoyed this, one of the first places to join community is to like this page so that you can get more of our material. It's a fantastic community. We're very delighted to co-convene. You can head over to YouTube, where we have literally hundreds and hundreds of videos to share with you about some of the topics that we know are really important. And look, when you're ready to kind of access and to really get in touch with your core confidence, we'd encourage you to come to our website, coreconfidence.com.au.